So today we're asking, what if I did live in Florida? What does that look like? We're getting after that next. Hey everybody, my name's Craig Cunha. I'm a real estate agent here in Southwest Florida, and if you're looking for a channel to tell you a little bit more about what it's like to live, play, eat, sleep, and buy real estate on the Gulf Coast, this is the channel for you. Go ahead and subscribe, hit the little bell to make sure you're notified every time, and you can either search on our website, ournextfloridahome.com, or you can use the new app that's coming out. This app has actually just been released, and you can find it in the Google Play Store, or you can find it in the Apple Store. If you've got any questions, like everyone else, as they reach out to me, you've got to call, text, or email because I've got your back when moving to the Gulf Coast. All right, so if you know anybody that's been to Florida, or if you've been to Florida, visiting, living, whatever it is, there's a couple things you absolutely know about Florida already. It's sunny, it's hot, it's gonna rain a lot in the summertime, it's absolutely gorgeous in the wintertime, and there's probably a lot of bad drivers you've experienced, lots of crowds. If you've come during our season, you know it gets very crowded. So yeah, there's a lot of unpleasurable things about it, but I just want to hit on a couple things about what it really is like to live in Florida right now amid everything that's going on, whether it's the housing market, whether it's all the COVID crap that was talked about for so long. There's so many things that have been going on, and I just want to kind of address what it looks like today in today's world. And the first place I wanted to start is what a typical day in Florida could be like for you if this is the way you wanted to do it. So a perfect day in Florida is going to be something along the lines of getting outside, because you're in Florida with all the sunshine. We have it almost every day of the year, so you've got to get outside and experience it. And one of the ways that we do it best is near the water. You hear about beaches all the time. If you're a beach goer, you're going to go to the beach. You're going to pack a lunch. You're probably going to do a pub sub. Publix subs are just very well known. So if you're going on a boat to the beach, whatever it is, get your pub sub, get your snacks, get your bag of ice, get your beer, get your sunscreen or long sleeve shirts and hats and sunglasses. All those things are needed. But if you're doing it by boat, you have so many more ways to get places, and you're going to find that you'll have a lot of privacy in places if you want that as well. It just depends on what you're looking for. Some people want to hang on a sandbar. They want to find people playing music, having a good time, playing games, shenanigans, whatever you're looking for, you're going to find it when you're out and about. We do have things off water as well. Downtown Fort Myers has a number of things to do down there. There's music walks and art walks and things like that. Plenty of shopping as you head down south towards Estero. There's the Miramar outlets, there's GCTC, there's Coconut Point, and then you can go down to Mercado and Naples. So there's a lot of different places that you can go if you're a shopper. But most people that I talk to and that I know, they're looking for a waterfront place, whether it's even just to go for lunch or dinner, which again, many more places of that. We're going to be touching on more of those, and I'll be adding them to the app as well, so that you can see some of the places that I go and I like to frequent, and I'll give you as much information about that as I can going forward. Now, one of the things you're going to do if you're also in Florida is it's not always fun and sun. Sometimes it's work and sun, like riding lawnmowers. Well, I could be pushing the lawnmower like I used to, but now I ride it. But the cool thing that I did the other day is I bought these new toadfish kind of suction cup deal koozies, and I bought them for the boat. That was the intention. But I found another really good way it works. And I'm out on the mower the other day just tooling around, and yeah, it works pretty darn good on this. All the bumping and bopping around in the backyard. Unfortunately, my backyard is bigger than I want it to be at times. When it comes to the maintenance of it, I don't want it that big. But it is a little bit more to take care of. So this is the way I do it. It still takes a good hour to trim it down and everything. So if you're somebody who wants to take care of your own lawn, you're going to put a good hour into it, and it's going to be hot and you're going to be sweaty. Or you can hire a landscaper. We've got tons of landscapers. They're very, very competitive down here. So if you don't want to do that part of it, go ahead and hire somebody to do it and save yourself the hassle. Now on to real estate and what that looks like right now. We are seeing some changes. So regardless of what you hear in the media, whether you hear from your Uncle Bob or your cousin Sally, this is what's really going on. We are seeing price reductions. We're seeing it from the builders and we're seeing it from individuals. In fact, I'm going to be showing some statistics here where you'll see the new listings are rivaling what the price reductions are as far as the number that's happening in a 24-hour period. So it is getting a little bit more competitive. Sellers are starting to be a little more realistic. Our price drops, we're seeing some big price drops, especially in the higher price ranges. There's one, I think it was 1.7 million that I was checking out, and its decrease was $175,000. Yeah, that's pretty big. You're almost 10% on a reduction on this thing, and it looks huge because of what the price is, but when I really break it down and look at what's going on, the reductions that happen on a daily, remember these are 24-hour snapshots that we're looking at, and 2 to 3% seems to be the number that is on average what's happening. Now, it can happen multiple times throughout the week, but 2 to 3% at a time is what people might deem reasonable. I don't know. But the good point is, it's going down. So if rates stay moderate or kind of decrease a bit, and we see price reductions at the same time, that could make this whole market affordable again. Because rent is certainly not going to be affordable, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more as to why that is. So I mentioned some of the stats, and what I'm finding is that there's a 2-to-1 ratio of things leaving the market versus coming on the market. And when I looked up this week, there were 122, or actually in the last 24 hours, there are 122 new listings, 130 pending, 89 closed, and 110 adjustments, reductions. So as you can see, there is definitely 2-to-1 leaving the market, and then there's a whole 1-to-1 ratio reducing the price of what new listings come on. So the market is definitely getting more favorable for buyers. If you're a buyer that's been waiting for the right opportunity and the rates work and the payment works, you might want to jump on it, because if you're coming to Florida, renting is not your best scenario right now. Rents are still, in my opinion and in many other people's opinions, ridiculous. Saw the other day, there was a post, somebody was renting out a 3-2 half a duplex 1-car garage for $22.50 a month in Punta Gorda. Now, Punta Gorda is a nice place. I really love it. I go up there often for my waterfront dining. We boat up there, all that kind of stuff. It's a nice place to hang out. Smaller town, but it gets super busy during season anyway, so that's beside the point. The point is that it's a smaller town, so it's supposed to be less expensive, but that's not even the case anymore. Everywhere that you look up and down the coast is starting to equal out in pricing. And if you're trying to get in the area, just watch what's going on, watch the trends. Hey man, jump on that app that I'm putting out. You can check things as often as you want. It's all live time. See what's in there and what's going on. Then you'll know better when it's time for you to jump in. Now, what I'm seeing also is inventory numbers. We're going from what was a 4-month time period of inventory up to 6 months. We're seeing price reductions from $500,000 to $460,000. So you're going to start to see more of this inventory that's going to be on the market as prices are reduced if people don't come back in and start shopping the market. Now, we're in the middle of summer. Summer isn't our peak, obviously. Our peak comes around starting in November and wraps around through April. So that is when it gets really competitive. We will still see plenty of people coming down this time of year because they want to see what's the worst. What's it really like to live in Florida? How hot does it really get? Is it something I could put up with? So we're going to get a ton of people that still come, but making decisions, again, a lot of people still waiting to see, well, how much more will it decrease? I'm not sure that we can see a whole lot more of price decreases, but I did want to show you that there are decreases, there is more inventory, and that trend is slowly getting more favorable for buyers, but we don't know when that will stop or plateau or shift back the other way. So don't wait to find the absolute bottom. If you need to be here, again, if you're being relocated, if you're making a lifestyle change, if you're remote working and you want to be in Florida, those are things that you need to buy a home here. If you already live here and want to upgrade or downgrade, that's a whole nother story. That might not be the best time for you at this moment, but you have to weigh out your personal situation. Talk to a financial advisor or talk to a broker, find out what your numbers really look like and how it's going to work out for you. Now, I saw some reports that were talking about price deceleration affecting the appraisals and the valuations on these properties, and that's just not what I'm seeing. We've had a number of appraisals recently, and every single one of them is coming in on the number. We're getting great values for the properties, and you're going to see that as the prices adjust down, like I was just in a situation with with Kyle and Jessica, and we locked up their home, and it was below market price. It was below list price. Wasn't below by much, but it was below. That's not the trend that we've seen in past months. So you can see where that part is adjusting. And as those numbers adjust, the appraisals are going to sit better when they come in. They're going to meet that sales number more so instead of reaching for the sky. So don't think that just because the prices are slowing that you're not going to get the valuations in on your appraisals. They're still coming in strong. And again, part of that is just due to the fact that there were a number of appraisals and a number of valuations that were done with the higher prices. So as we adjust a little bit lower, we're going to keep strong on those appraisals. And it's going to make sure that your value of what you're buying is going to stay strong for your time in that home. The other thing you might be hearing about is home buyers backing out of contracts. Backing out. I haven't seen it. And again, I take this from my perspective. You might have heard friends, family, again, Uncle Bob, people that had different scenarios. That's not happening here as far as I can see. I've had nobody back out. I've had nobody even not qualify. Everybody's qualifying well. So we're getting good situations. We're getting people that are following through. We're getting people that really want to be in these homes. So whatever news report you're seeing or hearing, I see it all the time too. I don't understand it. Every market's different. I talk about this all the time. We are different than many other markets around the country. So whether they're seeing it or not, I'm just not seeing it. Now this came up the other day. I was talking to somebody about rental rates. And yes, rental rates are going crazy. They're still well over the 2,000 mark to rent a home. And part of the reason, and I feel more so for the owners now, because everybody's jumping on the bandwagon and say, damn, they're so greedy. Why are they doing this? I can't understand it. It's because their prices have just gone up too. Imagine your home was priced at $200,000 and now it's valued at $400,000. You don't get an adjustment in your tax rate for usually 2 to 3 years. It's not every year that they do it. So when that adjustment comes to you, now your home has doubled in price in their eyes. So they need to make a tax adjustment. Also your insurance company, if they're going to cover your home, that same valuation, that 200 to 400, well, they want replacement value. So what happens to your insurance? That goes up too. So when you look at these sellers or these landlords that are renting their places out and you see that they're asking such big numbers, it's starting to make more sense because they're paying a lot more for their insurances and their taxes. Now, there are people out there inquiring about storage when you come to Florida. So obviously, we don't have basements. Where you're from, you very may well have a basement. That's extra storage. Florida, we're not blessed with that. What we're given is closets. Some people like to think the attic and garage space. There's also the availability of sheds in many cases. If you're in an HOA, please check on that because many homeowner associations will not allow a shed in your yard. But I happen to put one in my yard, a 10 by 16, and gave me a ton of space. It's almost like having that third bay now. So I was able to clear out. But the one thing I won't do, I will not put my stuff in the attic. That attic gets so freaking hot that you do not want your stuff up there. You put things up there, and if they happen to be near and dear to you, you might end up losing them. Things will melt, and things will break down faster due to all that heat. So keep that in mind. Storage in the attic is not where you want it. Find another way, whether it's get the bigger home with more storage, the 3-car garage, or again, the ability to put a shed in. That's the way you're going to store things here, or go to a storage facility. We've got so many of them now. They're out there. I can't tell you what the rates are because I don't shop that for myself, but I'm going to tell you, you're going to be looking probably somewhere in that 125 to 150 range just to start, and it'll go up from there. And for all of those who have inquired about, should I buy in the Northwest Cape? Well, I'm going to tell you, yeah, you should buy in the Northwest Cape, just like I've told every other one of my clients that bought in the Northwest Cape. Between the 7 Islands project that's going up there and now, they are going to give more access to retail and commercial and even warehouses up along the Burnt Store area. They're trying to build it up the same way the Pine Island corridor is built up. And what that means is a ton of new business going up through the Northwest. What does business do? It brings people. And if you want to work close to home, you're going to live up there too. So property values are going to be increasing out there as more things come. It makes it more desirable to be out there. Yes, it's going to increase the traffic, but as you may know, Burnt Store Road has been widened for much of the stretch from here to Punta Gorda. There's one more section that's a number of miles long. Can't wait till it's done because then things will really open up. I'm going to briefly touch on the fact that the iBuyer Open Door, they were recently fined $62 million for deceptive practices. Apparently, some of the information they were giving home sellers was not completely accurate and might have shortchanged those sellers by thousands each. In any case, that's part of the problem with all these iBuyer situations. And if you're going to be selling your property, again, I'm always going to recommend using real estate agent only because of the fact that there are so many things that go on in a transaction. But if you want to do it for sale by owner, just don't get involved in these iBuyer scenarios and schemes to be able to take over your home. You're not going to get full value. Whether you like him or not, Ron DeSantis did it again. Our budget surplus in Florida is over $21 billion. And that's amid these gas prices. It's amid having to give away homestead exemptions to people. Amid all this money going to other places, he still finds a way to build the budget for Florida. This is why people want to be in Florida. It's a healthy economy here. Businesses get to stay open, and they're not shut down by the local government. As I mentioned earlier, electric rates have definitely changed. I wasn't certain how it would affect me. Again, I don't have a lot of consumption. I don't have a pool with the pump and all that kind of stuff. I'm 1,800 square feet. I run my air about 77 degrees during the day. Goes down to maybe 75 at night, and I do a couple loads of laundry a week. But that's pretty much it. So with that said, my electric has stayed around 120 at the peak over the last 3 years. Last month it was 163. So yeah, a little bit of a jump. And I'm expecting it to stay there now because this is, again, the new trend for us here is FP&L is charging extra. I'm with LCEC, but they get their power from FP&L, so hey, it trickles down. But you may be somebody that was affected by a larger spike, and look at your usage. Look at your hot water tank, how hot you keep that. If you adjust that down, if you don't need a scalding hot shower, then turn that down. It'll save you some power in that regard too. But look around your place. Look and see what kind of light bulbs you're using. Do you have LEDs in? All those things will make a difference. So check those out and see if it's going to help you save a little as well. Now, when you build here in this area of Florida, elevation is always a concern. People are always asking about, well, I heard it floods there. What about the flooding there? Again, historically, we don't have a lot of flooding here. You'll see things, yes, rainstorms and tropical storms, yes, it'll flood some streets in the areas around here. Most homes aren't affected, but with this process of thinking about the floods, we also have builders that have a different way of building. Up in the Northwest, my builder, Jason, he will put a 3-core stem wall in when he's building the house to make sure it's elevated enough to keep it out of the floodplain. That helps on insurances, and it's also going to make you feel more peace of mind if a storm was to come. But that's the Northwest. That's because the elevation out there dictates that in some areas, and that's usually west of Burnt Store Road, or even Old Burnt Store Road. As you go east in the north, things get higher there. The elevation increases. So if you're looking in that area, right where the northwest and northeast meet, that's probably going to give you one of the highest elevations if you're considering new construction. But keep that in mind, elevation will be a part of it, and they can put a stem wall in to build the elevation up on there so that you're not going to be dinged by those really high flood insurance rates. I mentioned before, with all the heat here, you have the heat shield for the front window, right? I've got one in my truck. I've also got something that was literally a lifesaver yesterday because I get my son his ice cream and, obviously buy meats and wings and all that kind of stuff. Well, that stuff traveling in your vehicle, especially if you have to make more stops on the way home, that's not a good thing, is it? Ice cream wouldn't do very well here in Florida. So we use insulated bags. They do have these insulated bags at many of the stores you go to. I happen to use Sam's Club as my bulk warehouse place, and I have 2 of these bags. Put all the cold stuff in there. Everything's A-okay by the time you get home. So get yourself the insulated carry bags, storage bags, whatever you want to call them, and go along with that window shield, and you're going to give yourself the most amount of heat relief during our summer times. Do solar panels really pay off? Not according to this guy. You're going to see that he is the least bit pleased with the situation, not only in what it cost him to put the panels up, but his electric bill was affected just like everyone else's. Now, if my solar panels are going to save me so much money and I'm going to be making power that I'm going to be giving back to the power company so that they can give me a really low rate or even give me money back, and now I have to pay more too, is that really helping? So be careful, know what you're getting into, be sure that you get all the information. I hear about all these credits you're going to get from the government. Most people I've run into with solar panels, They have a PACE loan on the house. It's attached to your house. It needs to be paid off or transferred to a new owner if you're selling it. So keep those things in mind. It could come back to bite you later. And I've had some people ask about some RV parks and things in the area. Yes, we do have RV parks, and there's one that's brand new that's just about to open up. It's considered a luxury RV park. It's right on Burnt Store Road, sitting right next to this massive lake. It's a really nice looking place. The one thing I'm going to caution you on is, again, it's right next to Burnt Store Road. So if you're looking for a place to be quiet and relaxing, you might want to go further down the side road to the other end of the lake and see if you can get some peace and quiet down there. But it is another place that people with RVs that need a place to stay can go, as we do not have a lot in season. People are always looking for somewhere to go. Just like rentals are very difficult to get seasonally, it's also difficult to get an RV spot. So check this one out. All right, so that's a little bit more about what it would be like living in Florida right now and whether it would be something for you. There's much more I can discuss with you about this, so check out one of these other videos. It'll give you more insight and information. And if you've got a specific question for me that you need an answer to, you've got to call, text, or email, because I've got your back when moving to the Gulf Coast.